Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, AOL Chandra. Good to say hello first thing off as soon as the stream starts. Here we're looking at IntroToCryptos.ca, the home of digital currency traders. And you can see we've got all sorts of new information here where you can find out all the details about every different coin that there is listed on CoinMarketCap. I think there's about 1,500 coins on the website now. But the big news for today is this RSI divergence in the price of Bitcoin. And we can see way over to the side here, just off to the side, is a live Bitcoin price chart from bitcoinwisdom.com embedded here so that we can be watching the price of Bitcoin move as we're watching all the other different cryptocurrencies. So welcome to the stream. This is the Crypto Bull Market Watch. And as prices are going down, we are watching the bull market not start. But of course, it's going to start, and we're watching for when it starts. We're watching for a very specific chart pattern. And in fact, here in Bitcoin, we can see that prices have come down. RSI has diverged from the price pattern, and we can see the on balance volume, like on balance, the volume is less on the second wave down here. Recently we had a big dump here and then less volume, so the bears are losing strength, and this is indicating that prices are going to rebound a little bit. And it's probably I think overall in the long term it's going to be kind of not that exciting. So I'm anticipating, and I will wait for the market to show me yes or no. We'll come back up to the 50% level of this recent move. We'll make a little consolidation pattern. It may even fake out breakout before it goes down to $3,800 or so, maybe $3,000. And then we'll see more moves around these areas before prices start to move back up again. And why do I say that? And of course, this time frame here in my little scribbles is not accurate. Actually, I think this is going to all happen before the middle of December. I think over the next 3 weeks, we'll see this pattern shape up. And then after that, we'll hopefully see prices go back up on the rise. But if you're a short-term trader, then this little RSI divergence and this on-balance volume divergence here is really key and important for catching a move that could be pretty profitable. It'll come back up to these levels and then bounce off of these and come back down. Hey, Investments Vlogs, good to see you here. I appreciate everybody who comes along to watch. This is a real passion of mine and a long-term work. It is a work. It's a practice. So up in the top of the chat log, hopefully you can see. Let me know. Hey, how's it going, SWAT Squad? You're a winner of one of the free books recently. I have a question for you. If you're just tuning in now, can you see the link to the Bull Market Watch spreadsheet at the top of this chat? Just say yes if you can see it. If you're just tuning in, and can you still see that up there? And my notice that we're starting in 10 minutes and the notice to join the Discord channel. Just wondering if those are there and available for those new people who are just tuning in. And we're getting a few people signing up here. It's good. I sent out an email about 20 minutes ago to the list saying Bitcoin's making this RSI divergence. Thank you, SWAT Squad, for letting me know, because I can see it. And I typed it in there 10 minutes ago so that we would have that data so that you could quickly click on it and go and join me on the spreadsheet where we will be updating things. And you know, I think we probably need a new sheet in our spreadsheet so that this is all fresh and I don't know. I'll just leave it for now. But for those of you who are just tuning in, maybe new to the channel, we started out in early September making price prediction screenshots, and those would be interesting to look at. Any one of them would be interesting. I was anticipating things were going to go up, come back a little bit, and then be taking off. This is in September, and I was expecting that we would see some of this popcorn moves here in Decreed, mostly because we'd seen them in the past, but it's not time yet. I think that'll be after the new year that we're starting to see those kind of moves. And what did I say for Lisk? I know it's a fail, whatever I said. Yeah, I was expecting it was going to come up and hit those levels, pull back a little bit, and then go up, but it came down to new lows. Completely failed on this price prediction. And NXT, it's got to be a fail on this one as well, because NXT came down to new lows, and I was expecting it was going to be retesting old resistance, pulling back a bit, and then going to the moon. Easy predictions to make, and I think that many people were looking at the price charts in September and October, the middle of October, expecting, oh, here we go, here it comes, but not yet. And I got to say, one of the subscribers sent me an email earlier saying it's not going to happen until mid-December because of the hedge funds. They are all going short on these markets, and they need to make profits. They're going to drive it down. So anyway, in about September the 24th, I started marking out which ones were a buy signal according to the simple trading plan, which ones were nearly a buy signal, the yellow ones, I called those alerts, and any of the markets that turned into buy signals then later had the moving averages cross over, I called them cold fish, and turned them blue. So that was like, get out of the market, I'm not quite ready yet. And I was watching along here for all of these markets to tell me, are you going up or not? And then I got to say that as we saw all of these cold fish shaping up here, November 14th, earlier in November, we had more of them going cold fish, more of them near fails and fails. As this was happening, this was a really key time to get out of all the alts and Bitcoin, put everything into some stable coin. USDT, something else, or US dollar, and just step aside for a bit, because now we'd be able to re-enter at much more favorable prices. So, however, not all of the alts went down. Unfortunately, I was, don't worry, it's stickied. Fortunately, I picked a few coins that went up while Bitcoin was going down, and I ended up making more Bitcoin through this period. But of course, Bitcoin's gone down so much in price that I think the overall US dollar value of my portfolio still went down. And so this is what we've been doing here for the last couple months, day by day by day, going through and reviewing all of the charts on Poloniex, sticking to just Poloniex, and then reviewing any chart that anybody asks. So if you have a specific chart you'd like me to go over, please put it in the chat, and I'd be happy to pull that up, and I'll jump out of the sequence of going over all of these coins and take a look at yours that you request. So now this video lesson here is free. The only fee I ask is that you press firmly on the thumbs up button. If you really think you're getting value out of this, then what do they call that, a super chat would certainly help support the efforts here. And there's option for tipping in cryptocurrencies down below the video as well. And should you tip, you get featured on the page. You get your name up here, the little animation comes up, and a little jingle and logo and everything. And those who tip could actually knock Professor Wally out of the stream boss position here off to the side. So when he gets knocked down from those 5,000 hit points, whoever knocks him out of those 5,000 hit points actually takes over, and you will become the stream boss. All right, there's our introduction. So I talked about IntroToCryptos.ca website, where you can go and get all of the details on all the different coins and really dig into some deep research. And now, here's one that I'm watching closely, is a DOGE coin. I'm watching the order book here to see how many are buy orders here at 54 Satoshi, and what do we have for sell orders at 55 Satoshi. There we just drop down a little bit. And then I'm watching the order book to see what's actually happening in the buys and sells, because I'm bullish on this one, and I have a leveraged margin trade on, and I'm hoping for and anticipating that this is going to break higher and I'll make a killing on it. So now here's the RSI divergence, and we can see that since the beginning of the conversation, Bitcoin has shown a little tick upwards. If I zoom in on the 1 week view, the 3-day view, this is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. You know, it's a very small time frame, but this is how they actually start. All of the larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formations start out as a little tiny 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. There's always the bottom. Then prices come up and retest that bottom and they go higher. And then over time, we'll see these 1, 2, 3 bottom formations turn into nested 1, 2, 3s. And this isn't a prediction, but this is sort of how 1, 2, 3s will go. It'll come up, then it'll come down, and we'll have a larger 1, 2, 3 here. We've got a little baby one, we've got a larger one, and then the more time that goes by, the larger and larger these get. Oh, that was fancy. And so now we're watching in all of these alts for these super small 1, 2, 3 bottoms. If Bitcoin is reversing and we're seeing this divergence in the RSI and we're seeing the change in volume to more buying than selling, then I'm anticipating that we're going to go through the charts now. You should get your XRP tip bot. A tip bot? I'll have to Google that and find out more about it. All right, let me close this so I don't click on it again. And I'll close that one. Now we're just down to the spreadsheet and the charts. So let's go to Poloniex. Sorry about the in the microphone. Let's go to Ardor. Ardor. You're making a 1, 2, 3 bottom and you're diverging from Bitcoin pretty nicely here. There's a nice on balance volumes gone from negative to positive, and we're seeing this 1, 2, 3 bottom. Yesterday we just acknowledged it as a new low but did not put it as an alert. Today I'm going to have to put that as an alert, and I'm going to fill it in with some specific details as we're going along here. A break above these levels is a very early entry. This is such a small bottom formation that it's higher risk, and you'll want to keep your stop losses close. Hopefully prices go up and give you enough room that you can put your stop loss immediately above your entry point and keep yourself protected. But what is the price level here? I'll say 1457. And with these specific numbers, we can really take a look at what's going on with this. I sort of call this paper trading. And basic attention token, we'd called this an add-on signal. On this red line, we called that an add-on signal. It was looking good, it moved up higher, and now it's found resistance along these levels and pulled back. So I still would be holding on to that add-on, I think. But if I had bought in here and put my stop loss just above my entry point, this would have kicked me out. Now I have to watch again for another entry. And it's given me a larger 1, 2, 3 bottom. So I don't want to be jumping in here before the signal has confirmed itself. Now that I've been sort of faked out, I would have to wait until above this level, say the 41.29 level now. And I would leave that as an alert again, knowing that we got kicked out of that trade. One second here. All right, I'm back. BNT. Do we have enough data here yet? Sure, it's down to new lows. So our alert there did not have a number on it, but it was making a very small bottom formation here. Maybe I did an alert because it had shown this candle up and pulled back, and I was saying if it breaks, I didn't mark it in here, but it's just new number 1 point now, and there's no alert on that. So this alert was a fail. BCH, I gotta entirely gray this out and take it out. BCN is actually, I was looking at that there yesterday and thinking the chart looks pretty good, but the order book on Poloniex looked terrible. There was so much available for sale, 20 Bitcoin every Satoshi all the way up. It was like, wow, how is this going to take over that? Everybody just wants to get rid of their stuff and they don't want to sell it at the current price. They're hoping the price comes up so they can get out at less of a loss. So I think this may take a while to do anything. And Bitcoin, of course, we said it was at a near fail at 43.69. And what did it do? The price is at 43.69 right now over on our chart here up above. So when we said it was at a near fail, it was at 43.69. I think it did actually fail and come down, and now it's consolidated into a new bottom formation that is looking good because of the RSI divergence. So it may come up from here, but because we're looking at these in a different time frame, I'm going to actually put that as an alert. And I don't think it's going to go on a bull run for very long. I think it's going to come up and then pull back, as I was saying earlier. But because the market conditions have changed, and I have changed the way I'm kind of looking at this very short-term little bottom formations here, then Bitcoin has to also be included. This one has to break above the 1245 level. For it to be any kind of signal. And Burst was looking some favorable moves there. Do you use Coinage only for charting or trading? I only use it for charting, and I don't hook it up to my trading. And I think it's actually pretty convenient for your trading because apparently you can just drag your levels up and down for your stop losses, and it automatically changes your stop loss on the exchange, which I think is pretty cool to do it graphically rather than numerically. But I don't hook up my account to trade through Coinage because for myself, I think that any place you hook up your trading account to is just another place where people can hack in. So if they hack into Coinage, then they're into everybody's accounts, and they may not be able to withdraw. You only have it set to trade, but they could still mess you up by going in there and trading everything, selling everything. And that happened in one exchange where somebody hacked in and put everybody to sell or buy one specific coin, and they tried to do it like a pump and dump where they were using everybody else's accounts to drive the price up of that coin so that they could sell that coin and make an enormous profit off of it. And so I don't use this for trading, even though it may be really handy. What are we looking at? Burst. Longer term view, we can see this is an important support and resistance level. So shorter term view, this is the little 1, 2, 3 bottom, and 1, 2, 3, 4 times off of that level. If it breaks above that, that's pretty cool. That'll be very significant. So I'll say, wow, 123 Satoshi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 123 Satoshi. We'll see what goes on with that. I like putting in these numbers now so that we can be really looking back specifically at the numbers that we were calling on each coin and not just color coding it. Earlier, we were looking at Clam coin and saying, what's going on with these little candles to the upside all the time here? It was looking pretty robotic as the purchasing. So somebody was accumulating without trying to push the price up. Now the price has started to move up a little bit. And I drew these lines in here the other day, so I'll respect that, and I'll say that if it breaks above the 00025.6, 1, 2, 3, 25, 6, 0, 1, just to fill out the numbers, then I would consider that to be a buy there. So we got a couple of them that are looking like alerts. They're very close. All three of these, I would say, are alerts that they're very close to maturing into a signal. So yesterday we said 1730, that if Civic coin breaks above that, this would be a good spot on this little wee bottom formation stuff that's going on. But I don't think it did. It came up, it gave us this candle and pulled back, gave us the entry point, this entry opportunity now that it's come back to these areas, and it wouldn't be a buy signal until above this. So then you're actually, waiting for the momentum change to confirm, even on the smallest level. Of course, you could make more money if we knew in the future it was going to go up and we were purchasing it at this price and then it did go up. You would make more money than if you waited and purchased in here. But of course, the market's we can't never ever tell what's going to be happening in the future. So you got to wait for that turnaround to confirm in some little small way. And normally through this whole stream, I've been talking about waiting for the 12-hour bar moving averages to cross over, the downtrend line to break, and then the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation to break out before you take a trading signal. And many of the coins did that. And as soon as they did, they started fading back right off that entry signal. So rule number 1 is very important. And in many of these coins, especially the stuff that I set up on Binance, on October 26th, I took $1,000 and I bought $50 into each of a range of coins. And they all did this. All of them were making this great breakout. It was looking like the time to be putting the money in, and they immediately turned around and came down. And I'm still holding them all down to probably a 30 or maybe a 40% loss in some of them. And I'm holding them. Because I do have a longer term perspective of what these markets can and I believe will do, so I'll just hold those. It's extra money. It's not money I need to pay rent with or anything, so it's okay to sit there. No worries. And I'll leave that there, so I have a little bit of money in all of those different projects. And we'll see what happens over time. So for this one, nothing going on yet, but we'll leave that 1730 as our. Now Dash, we said 0263. Hello Marius, good to have you here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you're liking what you're doing, if you're tuned in a second time here and you've watched this stream before, then hit that thumbs up button. It does help get the word out about what's going on here, and maybe more people can benefit from it. I'm looking at this chart trying to figure out where I put that 00623. So I was really waiting for it to come way up and really make this bottom formation and do something and change directions to come back up above these support and resistance levels now. That's certainly one approach. Another approach is to go for this swing trade, the fade as things are coming back here, is to go for that swing trade. Prices are coming right back to where they were and showing a little tick stronger. It's a higher risk for certain, sure, but there's different tactics that are good for different times. For my own part, I do prefer to wait for the momentum to change directions and then jump on the wave and ride it from there. It just seems like a safer time. I've been bitten so many times by jumping in before the wave moves, and then it just keeps going the opposite direction. So this is why I put that into Dash coin, and we'll just leave that one and leave it relax. Decreed also came down further, and we've got this sort of idea to enter the market above these support and resistance levels. Even though it's come down to some important bottoms here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times off pretty much these exact levels. So as a swing trader, this would be alluring, very alluring, especially since it's come down, made a bottom, pulled up, and now made another little wee tiny 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. You know, and these things do work on day trading. So if you are into the day trading format, then this would be something to take a look at, and then take small profits as it comes up to other resistance. You know, you've got this range where it's moved before and pretty liquid and pretty fast. So as a day trader, you could enter here and aim to get out here and take your small profit and look for another small entry like that. I find that I don't like playing around in those kind of levels. I'd rather take a smaller position and wait for it to do the work and wait longer. So this one isn't grabbing me by the chin. I'll wait on that one as well. Digibyte, we said 334. I don't think it's come up to 334. Yosef, good to have you joining us as well. Thanks for tuning in again. If you have any specific coins over on Binance that I'm not covering here, let me know. I'd be happy to go and check them out. If you have any world markets that you'd like me to check out and take a look at the chart patterns, I'd be happy to look at those. As soon as I say that, now I want to go and look at silver. Okay, we got 3 times off this bottom. 1, 2, 3. Looking pretty good. But it's not given a turnaround enough. Not nearly enough. It's still on a downtrend, and it's been going down, 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 down. And so I gotta wait for this to turn around before I can do anything with it. Even though I'm holding some, I still have some. I'm still holding, and I'll keep holding. I wouldn't add on to this position or open a new position until it turned around and came up higher. And DOGE. Hey Van Frick, great to have hard times to hold. It is. And you know what? I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories about the larger corporations selling short on Bitcoin, knowing it's going to cascade all of the cryptos down lower. And it's time for them to be stepping into these markets. So they want to drive it lower, shake out all the weak hands, and people will panic sell into their waiting buy orders. And then we're going to see the bull market right after everybody just gives up and capitulates and sells out everything. So it is hard times to hold. And we've been here before. We've been here before. Let's zoom out to the 1-year view on this and look what happened. And this is easy to rationalize. Easy to rationalize. We had this nice setup here. The bottom formations were looking so good last year at exactly this time. And prices came down until the middle of December. And, you know, we had this long bottom formation. Everything was setting up. Everybody was getting excited. And then it went down more. A lot of capitulation went on here, a lot of depression, a lot of negative tweets and stuff like that. Everybody was giving up on cryptos. And what happened immediately after, we all know, it popped right up. Now, we know these technologies are going to be changing the world. We know what they've done in the past in these crazy moves when there was very little world attention on them. Now there's a lot more world attention, and I think some of the big guys have woken up, and they are preparing. They are accumulating. And so it is time to hold. It is time to hold, and if you've got any spare coin, this is actually time to be putting that coin into the markets, according to my thinking. Because really, how much lower could this go? It could go down to 20 Satoshi, right? You could still lose 10 times your money in this market. Let's not kid ourselves. But when we're seeing these bottom formations, this is the time to take the risk. It's not like buying a lottery ticket. This is a very statistical, logical, methodical way of approaching these markets. When they make a bottom formation and they've made a bit of a turnaround on it, put in a small bit of your position. Add on to it if you are correct. And then the hardest part is to sit back and do nothing. The trading system that I'm talking about and teaching and going over and over and over as the markets are going down, this bottom formation hunting, it's a lot of work right now. It's a ton of work day after day after day to keep watching, keep watching. New subscriber. Wow, awesome. Thanks for subscribing. You just knocked some points off of Professor Wally. So he's down a little bit. We get more subscribers and we're going to, if we see 10 times down from here, I'll be selling my liver. I think I'll be living in my car if we see 10 times down from here. Maybe I'll have to sell my car and I'll be living on the street and collecting beer cans for returning. Just kidding. But if did do that, would we expect a very good bounce from here? I've been the trouble with this strategy that I'm going over here is that it is a contrarian strategy. The trend is your friend. Everybody says this. The trend is your friend. And what we're doing is looking for the end of the trend. Watching for it and watching for it and watching for it and watching for it. And eventually we hit the end of the trend. So if you've got your risk control rules working properly and you see this little opportunity to buy, it's the making 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and you think, yeah, this is a good point. I'm going to buy on this breakout. That's exciting. Here we go. And it turns out to be fading back. You got to sell out of that position because the trend has forced itself back into reality. Here's another example of a fake out breakout where 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, moving average crossed. The prices were breaking higher and it failed and went down. So this formation hunting actually fails probably 6 times out of 10. And so this is why I talk about rule number 1 and rule number 2. Rule number 1 is to only hold a trade if it proves you correct. Reduce or remove your positions immediately. Assume that you are wrong when you put it on. Assume that the trend is going to continue and you're just mathematically, statistically putting your trade on there. And then rule number 2 is that you add on to the trade if you are proven correct. So then you are bigger when you're winning, and you will have a lot of small losses along the way as you are hunting for these bottom formations. This is the drawback of this trading strategy, is that you will have those small losses all the way down. And the trick is to have the thinking, the belief in this whole overall strategy so that you will take your losses and reposition yourself and get back in again. Trade with a small enough position that you can take your losses and it's not painful. If you put on a big position because it's looking so good, then damn, it's hard to take your losses because it's really expensive. Worse is that you do dollar cost averaging. So here's an example of where it'd be just killer. You see this, you buy in here with 100 units and prices come down and you see it breaking up here and you think, oh, this is great. I'm going to buy another 100 units because now it's the real bottom. And then prices go down more. You're actually bigger. You're holding a bigger position as the prices are coming against you. So your losses are much more significant. So you only add on to a winning trade. You never add on to a losing trade because especially in this contrarian trading strategy, trend following strategy, you're killed. You really take a big loss as you're going down here. So I talk about this over and over all the time, but it's a key part of seeking 1, 2, 3 bottoms is that you know that risk control, those 2 risk control rules, they will save your bacon. And then when we finally do hit the bottom and we hit it and the prices go up and they never look back and you add on to it and they keep going up and the trend is going the other way, now we have a nice larger position while the trend is going in our favor. That's where you can actually have 60% loss ratio, 40% win ratio, maybe even 70-30, and you end up making lots of money in the long term because all of your losers are very small and all of your winners are much bigger holdings so that they earn much more as you're winning. First Light. This market is making me drink. Actually, at First Light, you were the guy who was telling me about we're not going to see prices go up until mid-December. And I was doing some contemplating on that and looking at the charts and I think, wow, that's pretty wise strategy. It's pretty wise looking because this is what's actually playing out here. So awesome. I appreciate that tip that you sent me in there. All right, so that was a little bit of a sidetrack talking about rule number 1 and rule number 2 again. And I'll do it again and again and again because just like learning karate, you never learn a front kick in one class. I can teach you everything you need to know about a front kick in about 10 minutes, but it's going to take years of repetition before your brain actually rewires itself so that it's natural to do a front kick correctly. You know, the karate classes are lots of repetition. Same with this trading. It's lots of repetition of these patterns over and over again. So then it becomes reflexive. It becomes habitual. What you know about for trading isn't going to help you, but the habits that you have, the beliefs that you have, that's what's going to really help you become profitable. So actually, when I'm looking at Dogecoin, I'm wanting it to go up. I have a leveraged long position on here, but it does look like it may hesitate from here and pull back a bit. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It broke up, went up a few Satoshi. It's coming up to old support and resistance levels and having trouble there. So it may pull back a bit before it gathers and breaks higher. I hope it just breaks higher, but that's what the chart looks like. So I wouldn't, if I'm not already in this, I would need to do that, exactly that, and maybe 57, 58 Satoshi. Actually, we've got it marked as a buy signal from earlier, so I'll continue that as a buy signal. So on November 21st, we recognized that bottom formation, this 1, 2, 3, and said, oh, that'll be a buy signal, and it went above it. So I'll hold that as a buy signal. We see the moving average did cross over on the 4-hour bars, so it's a small bottom formation, and it's actually bottomed before Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin came down this last leg, Dogecoin went up. So a larger holding in Dogecoin would have helped you not take as much loss as Bitcoin was coming down. And Van Frick, good to see you. Cheers. EOS. Nothing going on here. We still see some pretty big bleeding candles to the downside. It really needs to break above this triangle level and do something. So I think EOS is a pretty amazing platform. They've got a lot of apps working on it, and anything that is a platform on which apps are built, I want to have a little bit of it. And then I just want to like set it aside and not think about it. Leave it to, wow. Ethereum Classic, you are not doing very well. So those people who split from Ethereum to make Ethereum Classic, fail. You know, good job, good effort, but the market's not picking it up. Ethereum has come down even further, and yet it has not broken below the September lows, and that's pretty good. So as it was making this consolidation here, I was liking that, especially as Bitcoin was also consolidating here. Now, I don't see an RSI divergence. There is a bit of lower volume here relative to earlier, but now it has to make a whole new bottom formation. It's got to do another consolidation like this here, and then be breaking above these levels. Let me clean this up. So it's got to make a new consolidation here, and then it pretty much has to give some juice and break above these levels, consolidate, and then go up above these support and resistance levels to get anywhere. Maybe even this high. You know, it may bounce up to these levels and then come down from here. And that's the nature of a downtrend. It'll come up a bit, it'll bounce off the prior support, which is now resistance, and then it'll continue on the downtrend. So this could be a sell target. It looks like in short term with Doge, there's a lot more support keeping it from going lower than higher based on the quantity of orders. Yeah, I was watching that closely as well, because as I said, I've got a leverage long position where I've got, I think, 1.6 Bitcoin worth of trade position size, some over 3 million Dogecoin. So every Satoshi it goes up, I make, I don't know, 300,000 Satoshi in profit. So if it goes up 10, I'm making some nice returns on that relative to the rest of the size of my account at this time. So nothing going on here. Some work to do. Factum, I've been watching for the top formation in this for a while, and it looks like we are seeing some of it on the 5-minute bars. Look at that, right from the top of the range down to the bottom of the range, and then it bounced up. So this one was a tough one because it staged so many times here. Looked like it was going down, looked like it was going down, looked like it was going down, and then finally it did a top here and it pulled back a bit. But it's still within this parallel line channel going up here. And amazing, actually, when I was looking at this to see that the very moment Bitcoin started breaking is the moment that Factum started to go up. So this probably did even better than putting your money in USDT. It went up very nicely. I don't know. I haven't looked at USDT versus Bitcoin, but this was a fantastic move. And now, in the longer term view, it is coming up to old support and resistance. It would be quite natural and normal for this to pull back to the 50% level before starting on the rest of the trend upward. Andrew Williams, good to see you here. It's always good to come in and join the party, for sure. Hopefully we find some alerts here and some indication of markets that are hitting these bottoms that can give us a chance to step in there and make some killer profits, or the beginning of our killer profits, because real killer profits take months to manifest. Just as if you could have gone short off this top, it would have taken all these months to really make the most of your trade. It's going to be the same when the bull market starts. We're going to want to get in at these bottom formations and then sit on our hands and do nothing. Even as the market comes up and pulls back a little bit, we want to stay sitting on our hands for that longer term move. Game credits, actually, yeah, we had this line drawn here. If it breaks above that, that would turn into a small entry point. And what's the number there? 1749. I haven't been writing numbers in the rest of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1749. Gas, I don't think so. Oh, but look at that. It certainly could be above the 000627. 1, 2, 3, 6, 2, 7, 0, 1. Just to fill it out to 8 digits. Golem Network token, one of my personal favorites because I like the project. It was a buy signal. It's pulled back to retest this the number 2 point. So we got the 1, 2, 3, and it's come up, hesitated there, made a little top formation, come back to retest it. So one of the strategies that I've learned is to buy on the breakout of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Another strategy is don't do that, because there are so many fake out breakouts that let it break out. When it comes back and retests that level, doesn't break down below it, this is actually the better time to be purchasing. So if we zoom in a little bit, as it's come back to be retesting these levels and making a tiny 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here, like a springboard trade, this would be a good entry point. At any rate, we did have a buy in that in our sort of paper trading studies here. So I'll leave that marked as a buy and we'll calculate those details later. Hunter coin had no alert, no numbers. Vericoin cup with handle formation. Oh, let's just skip ahead and see. Veri? Which one is that? VIA or? or am I in the wrong one? I'm not sure which one very is according to the... Okay, that's got to be over on Binance then. It's on Hit BTC. Yeah. 12-hour bar. Here's our cup. Here's the handle. It confirms the cup with handle if it blasts off from here. And generally, a good cup with handle will really take off because the momentum and then the retest of that momentum is enormous. I really like this chart actually with this big bowl shape here and then pulling back right to these levels to retest this. We can see that, I'll clear up my junk here. We can see that this is, what do we have here? A small 1, 2, 3 bottom formation with some pre-pump candles and the moving average crossover. So right in here is a buy signal. Prices came up, and depending on your trading system, this is holding above these levels, so it's come back to retest, and that's all good and fine. So that's one way to be trading it, and that's the way I've been approaching and teaching it in this series, is break out of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. But a variant of that is the pullback, and to be buying in when it does come back to retest that number 2 point. So then you're less likely to be jumping into a fake out breakout because it has proven that it's not going down and continuing on the downtrend. I would like to see a stronger RSI divergence here and maybe a bigger change in the volume, so that we would have a bigger volume spike here and a smaller volume spike here, which tells that the bears are running out of power. And it would be better to see a nice strong RSI divergence from the price coming down like we were just seeing in Bitcoin. But all that, I like this chart. And so I appreciate you pointing that out. I'm going to star that one for later. I love it. And the more of these suggestions that come up, the more I learn that this is a super value for me, because I am really focused on, for simplicity's sake, to do the Poloniex markets, because there's 55 of them or so, and we can do them all within an hour and a bit. And I'm more familiar with them all after all this. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you being here. And look at that, 12 out of 19 thumbs up. Love it. We're getting like 100% thumbs up on most all these videos, so that is fantastic. Oh, Very is a good project. It's the chart is making it look like a good project. It's not diving down to new lows from these levels, and it's at a pretty good dollar value per coin at 0.002. Let me, if it is a good project, then I want to bring it up. Vericoin VRC. Is this the coin? 50% profit is fantastic. Nothing to sniff at there. How do I track strategies, coins, and exchanges? Well, I have just sort of the one strategy, and then it doesn't matter what market I'm looking at. I could be looking at silver, gold, platinum. It's the same strategy. So awesome. I will take a look at this, and I'll update this information because there's not very much information here about what it's doing. P2P capital markets without brokerages, banks, or traditional exchanges. Good. I'll take a look at that, and I'll look through their official website, their YouTube, their Twitter, and I'll add in some information here on this page and include a couple videos so that, and then I'll tweet it out. And up along, well, I guess you can't see it right now, but when we're in the dark page, you can see up along the top here, twitter.com IntroToCryptos. This is where I've been doing research on these coins and posting them onto Twitter. And I'm going through every day. I'm doing a few more. I only got one out today, but digital gold, awesome. Huge. Love it. Next on our list, unless you guys have something else to interrupt me with, please do. Hunter coin made some new lows. It was making this bottom, it was looking great, and it made some new skewers to the bottom. And so this completely kicks it out and puts it back into rewatch mode. And it was actually an alert a couple days ago, and now it's not. The Kyber network, KNC. It was an alert because when I have to look at the price of it on Binance, KNC, because it was an alert. No, that's not what I was thinking. I thought it was above these levels from before, but it isn't. It's making a nice formation here, but it's not as nice as it was the other day. It was poking higher here, and now it's fading off. So here's another example of a fake out breakout that could have been enticing to jump in as this candle's going up and pumping a little bit. You go, oh, here it goes, yes. And then it's following Bitcoin pretty closely. So better to be further away from the market, let the market take its time to actually turn around and then get in, especially when it's come down to these levels. So I had a double star on that. I must have been saying with a warning, with a caveat. Library credit. Oops. Poloniex. You want Bitcoin to fall below 3K by the year's end? You want to buy more of them, don't you? Or are you short of it? Oh. Library credit must have did this yesterday, where it made a huge skewer to the downside. We were looking at this nice consolidation and really took a beating. So nothing doing here. There's nothing. Just got to stand away from that and let everybody else fight it out until the investors show us that they like the project enough that they're buying into it. And you'll see that because we get a bottom formation and the prices start to go up, and we'll let other people do that fighting. We'll just sit back. And then we'll ride the wave when the wave is actually starting. Short-term memory loss, Loom, and then Lisk. No shorting, but I would like to buy more. I am practicing preparation for more shorting. And it's a tough one to do. The timing has to be just right, because when you're buying low and selling high, prices generally go up on the stairs. We know this saying, right? That goes up on the stairs, and then down on the elevator. So if you do get the timing just right, you can make a killing on the short side, but their timing has got to be really great. This one's come down to new lows, so even though it was making kind of a nice consolidation there, it's faded off even more and kicks itself out of consideration of this. It needs another consolidation, but I like it because it's above these levels from September, so that still holds a little bit of sway for me. Now it does not seem going low because all the panic sellers have sold. There's no more sellers. It will go up. But then it may go down to 3K again. You never know. I do believe Bitcoin is going to show a little rally, and Lisk will be next, and we actually had a number there. But let's go over to Bitfinex and take a look at Bitcoin. Yes, you got to be prepared for both scenarios. You have to look both ways before crossing the street. And if you have the opportunity to make money while it's going one way and the opportunity to make money when it's going the other way, you got to practice doing that, even if it's just paper trading. Most of the cryptos you can only buy low and sell high, but some of them have the short market. The trouble with trading short is that there are also additional costs to it, where with if you just buy a handful of cryptos and you hold them and you're a bag holder, you're not getting charged interest every day for holding them. But if you take a short position and the prices are going up and you're holding it until prices come down, you're paying interest as well as holding a losing trade. So at any rate, I do believe that Bitcoin is priming up for a bounce here. We're seeing that the volume is changing, the buying volume is changing. We're seeing this divergence in the RSI, as we were talking about earlier. Whoops. And those things put together with this bottom formation give me the idea that it's probably going to bounce. And if it is going to bounce, then I'm not anticipating any more than the Fibonacci ratio 50% level. And 50% level is a standard. It's an amazing standard how often it comes up. It's uncanny. The Fibonacci retracement. If I draw this all the way up from the high to the low of the recent high and low, the 50% level, oh, look at that, right where I drew my line. We'll see where this comes. It'll bounce up to this 50% level, and then it'll come down from there, and it'll have to retest these lows and break them, or retest these lows and then break above that 50% level. So one of the two. This is my ideas of what it will be doing. That didn't help. 3-month view, 1-year view. Okay, my scribbles are not looking good. But you can see the other scribble I did earlier where I figured it was going to be coming up to that 50% level, hit it twice, and then down to $3,300, $3,000, just where you were saying the $3,000. It does look there, just according to basic chart patterns, and that's where we are now, is a basic chart support and resistance pattern. So let's see what goes on that. And if that is the case, then as it comes up to these levels, that would be, and makes a hesitation, this would be a place to be looking to go short on it. If it comes up to those levels and it hesitates, makes a top formation, and the RSI is diverging, and the on-balance volume is showing us weaker power as it comes up, and then it retests that, and we see the on-balance volume is weaker, and we get an RSI divergence, there's our short signal. So let's watch for that over time. I love making the predictions, but now let's watch for it and actually take an action on it. Put a little skin in the game. Lisk. Lisk. 1-week view. All right, that's pretty good. I like that it's consolidating so long, long relative to what we've been looking at since the 19th pullback, where it was another Bitcoin hell day, right? We had the hell day on the 14th, and it went sideways, and then we had a hell day on the 19th, and now everything is having another potential bottom, and it's looking great. I would have to wait for it to break above these levels. What did we say in that? What was the number? 0.00379. 0.00379. So it just come up and took us out, just touched us into the market, and then pulled back. That would have been pretty frustrating, actually, if we would have had a buy order waiting there. At any rate, now that it's pulled back to these levels, a second retest up there would be really good. So rule number 1 would have to kick in here. If you did have a buy order and it did not prove you correct, right? It didn't go higher, then you got to close this position right away. Comes up and it's starting to show weakness. You just got to close that small position. Try it again. Make sure it's a small enough position that you can close it without sweating. especially at the beginning, at these extreme bottoms. A small position over a long period of time is going to be very beneficial, and a small position that you can close quickly is also very beneficial. So it is going to bounce. I also think there was 2 sell-offs within a short period. So all those panic sellers have already sold. Now there's no sellers there. The sellers are quite quiet. Therefore, a bounce will happen. I hope so too. Merit Denim. Yes, indeed, Michael. That would be nice to see. Merit, you got a good point there. I would like to see it because all of the other alts will wake up. They will just start dancing. So this was actually not a good call. I'm going to have to say that it turned into a failed call and a loss on that one because we bought into it at that level and then it came right back. Litecoin. This is looking pretty good. I like the triangle that it's making. And on the 5-year view, this little triangle is right at important levels all the way along through history. So if it bounces up from here, that's pretty important. That'll turn this into a massive, look at that, right through the middle. There'll be a massively important position through history. If this bounces up and gets some distance from this, this is really cool. And it would be a buy signal on a break above this level. What is that? 00766. Let's check that out. And we had Made and Mana were both buys, but they were buys earlier and they were still holding the buy position. Let's go and see what's going on. I know Made retraced a bit here today. Dun dun dun. So off this top, and it was looking like a, what did I say on that top? It's an ascending wedge triangle. It looks very bullish. And as soon as I said that, the next morning it did a right angle, like just within 2 minutes it just dropped big time. Went sideways from there and another right angle, and it's pulled back up a little bit. So if we go into the 12-hour bars, we're still fine, right? Our buy signal was here. Maybe our buy signal was here. Prices have pulled back a little bit, but we're still way in the profit. And patience is a virtue on this one. If it's within this channel and doing its thing, no worries. I drew this squiggly line saying that it's be normal for it to come back to the 50% level and then make a 1, 2, 3 bottom and break higher from there. And for the long-term chart trend, that would be healthy. That would be really healthy because it would really solidify this bottom if it were to pull back like that and then go higher. If it just keeps going higher, that makes it more and more shaky all the way up. So even though I am long and I do have some of this stuff, I wouldn't be shook out of this for it to come down and do these levels. In fact, I'd be looking to add on at this position here. Let it come up, let it come back, and get used to this thinking that once we get into this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and the markets have proven us correct, the further it goes ahead, the further back you leave your stop loss. It's other people's money, right? It's profit money. And the further back you leave your stop loss so that you stay in it for that whole trend. And one of the drawbacks of that is that you do have the potential to lose more of the paper profits that you had, but you are the idea is to take a small position and then give it the room to do that. Let it anticipate that it is going to do that. And when it comes back, that's when we're going to be adding on and really putting the hammer down and our full position on. You picked up XEM. That's a good one. Blue collar worker here, looking for a brighter future here. Absolutely. And this is a path. I'm going to have a fire truck coming by, so I'll mute myself here. He turned down a near street. Mana coin. I believe this one's going to be going up because they are having real estate sale here shortly. I'm not sure when. In December, they're having 2 weeks where they're selling the second round of real estate inside Decentraland. And I think that the prices will pump just before that. And then just as the sale is going on, prices are going to be dropping. And right after that sale, prices are going to be going down, 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 down. And we'll want to watch for that new bottom formation there. So I think it's going to be going up from here. And I like this chart pattern. It's one of the few that is not coming back to retest old lows. Right? It's coming back to test the breakout of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So it's looking good. It's looking good in a few ways here. We've got the RSI Divergence. It's pretty much matching the price. We've got on balance volume is bigger here and less here. So it's bigger on this downswing and then less on this one, which shows that there is not as much power in selling. So all of those things make me feel like that is catching a bottom here and is going to be going up from here. Where to buy on it though? This isn't the normal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation trade. Given that we have some fundamental information, some news about the project that's going on, this lends itself, in my feeling, to a swing trade where it's come back down to these levels and a breakout above this level would be enough. And that's 1378. Did I write something? No. But we're already long in it, so 1378 then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1378 would be the buy, the add-on signal right there. Adriano Postinger, good to have you here. And Merritt, hey guys, when do you think this market will bottom? Is it going to be months or rather a year more? Populus. Anybody got an answer for that? Is it going to be months? Is it going to be 2 weeks from now? Or is it going to go on for a year? Populus project. I actually signed up for this just the other day. You can buy and sell invoices. And when I signed up there and I was looking at the invoices that you could finance, right? You could buy these invoices. The percentage profit was 4% if the person then pays the invoice later. So what you're doing is you're supplying cash to a business that so they have funding locked up in invoices, outstanding invoices that haven't been paid yet, and they want to get that money so they can sell the invoice at a discount. They don't get as much money as the whole invoice, and you pay them that, and then you wait for the invoice to come in, and you get 4% of that size of that invoice. Plus, if the invoice is late, then there's interest charges that accumulate on it as well. So I am interested in this one. I did do some research on this and thought this is a pretty ingenious. Yes, it's an ingenious idea. Buying debt is you know, like they've got the discounted mortgages, here's the discounted invoices. And I'd like to see how it goes. And I think over time there would be some invoices that are defaulted on, and you know, you'd have to play it out over 100 different invoices to see what kind of percentage gain that you end up getting overall. And I know that people have to supply your real identity, so real businesses have their invoices in here showing as unpaid. So that's a little bit more public shame than just not paying the guy who did the work for you. This is out there where you get, you know it. Well, Scott, good to see you tuned in. Good to have you here. So yes, I did look at Populus. And I didn't look at the price chart. It's like everything else, down to the ground here. And fantastic opportunity. Really, everything. If it's come up from $70 per coin, and now it's down to $1, like $2 per coin, you know, put $10 into it and leave that sit for 2 years and see where this turns out. It's really, there's so many coins here that are really just wonderful opportunities, I think. So Mana coin, I'm going to put this in here, 1378. Oh, I put it in the wrong place. Yeah, I do imagine the upside. I wake up early in the morning imagining the upside. If the invoices are small, good think diversified. Yep. And there are some big invoices in there, like tens of thousands of dollars of invoices that are in there. So it's not just for little game players, but it's, if you're going to make money, you want to find all the different ways that you can passively make money, that you're letting your money work for you rather than the hours that you're putting in to work your money. So when you do have extra money, you've got to put it to work for you. That's a little worker that stays there doing things on your behalf. And any kind of project that lets me make passive income by making my money work for me, I want to learn more about it. I want to expand and expand and expand again, so that when I die, there's enough money left over for my downline, my family, my daughter, to, you know, generational wealth changing. Not just my own life, but generation people after me, my granddaughter, grandson, which is nowhere near being born. Navcoin. Whoa. Made quite a spike there. So this is a wonderful pre-pump candle, and then it's come all the way back down, giving us the opportunity to slip in there after somebody else has told us that big stuff is happening. And I love it. This has done some pre-pump candles before, and then a big run up. So here's our popcorn trading strategy opportunity. It's come back down to testing the number 2 point here and just giving us a big pre-pump candle. So that is a super alert for me. Whoops, I gotta close this, otherwise I'll keep going back to that tab. 46.27 we were calling for it, and it went above 46, hit us and pulled all the way back down. So that's the second one now that nailed us as a popcorn order, and we were putting our buy orders up here. So not a good buy order placement, because we would have bought in there and then been at a, I don't know, 10-20% loss already. But right now, today, I would call this a buy signal, because we've seen what it's doing as a pre-pump warning, and I would say right now, because it's pulled back, that's the entry point. It is kind of a swing trade, and only comes up when we're coming off of bottom formations like this. All right, Namecoin, which I really don't have any affinity for. It's given us pre-pump, another one, another wave of a pre-pump candle. So it is giving us that warning. It's telling us in advance, and it's been giving us pre-pump candles for a while here on this downtrend earlier, and now it's doing it again. So it's giving us that warning. We can see it in the charts. Somebody else knows more than I do, and they're showing me in this chart. So I'm going to put, we already got the buy signal here at the 10,000,1001. There it is, 10,000,1001. I'll leave that. NXT was a fail. Bark EFT delayed until January 24th. Oh, the exchange traded fund for Bitcoin. And that was going to, people were anticipating that one to do some good stuff for Bitcoin, because with an exchange traded fund, they actually have to purchase Bitcoin and have ownership of that. Then you can trade that exchange traded fund. Or was that a futures thing? Backed. What are we looking at? NXT, historical lows all the way down. Hit that, pulled up, and came back and hit it again. So now if it does break above these levels, it would give us something new to look at as a turnaround from a bottom. But it's, and that's, it would. You know, look at the RSI is changing, the on balance volume is changing, so we have less volume on this down dip. We've got the RSI giving us a divergence. It's actually a swing trader's entry right there. It's got all of the coordinates for a swing trader's entry. Probably helped cause this latest downturn. I don't know. This is too big for any one event. And I don't think Craig Wright, or whatever the guy who says he's Satoshi, I don't think his ranting and stuff is, I see in the news articles people saying that that may be what caused it. What are we looking at here? NXT in the very close range view. Some big pumps and then mechanical selling, then a big pump and mechanical selling coming down. That is a swing trader's entry right now where we're looking at it. It's not what I try to do because I just haven't been doing it. I've always been looking for the trend change, the 1, 2, 3 bottom, and the market to actually show me that the tide is coming in, and it's not just one of the waves jumping this way and that. I don't want to hold things short term. Eventually, when we finally do get the bottom formation, I hold my positions and I don't do anything in the trading. There's nothing to do. I just sit and watch it. Right now is the hard work as it's coming down, and you got to keep watching for that entry moment. This is the hard work. It'll actually settle in BTC daily when it gets up and going. That's why they need to actually buy Bitcoin, and that will have an effect on the supply of Bitcoin. What was the delay, I wonder? What do you think of the Steam platform? Is it sustainable or just a milking cow? It's so, there are different things out there that are attaching cryptocurrencies to human action, and then they are botted, and the bots just work it to take the money out of it, and then they sell that for profit. And so, like game credits, I think the same thing will happen when you have a game that you can actually earn money in. Somebody's going to write a bot for that, and they're just going to automate it, and they're going to milk all the money out of it. So I don't know. I have a Steam blog, and I like it. It's search engine friendly, and I use the bots to like my posts, and I make more money than it costs me to pay the bots. And it does build an audience, and it does work in the search engine. So I don't know. I don't know about the price of the coin. I think it'll eventually take off, though. And the reason I think that about the bots is because I used to play a lot of the game RuneScape, and the bots would be working the game, earning the gold pieces, and then they would sell the gold pieces for US dollars to kids playing the game, and the kids would use those gold pieces to buy items in the game so that they could level up faster and what have you. And the bots were making billions of US dollars by running this triangle of the bot working in the game, making the gold pieces, then you would sell those gold pieces to a person who's playing the game, and it's an enormous economy that was just milking money out of the game. But it's not milking the gold pieces out of the game. They keep circulating in the game. It's milking the money out of kids who are playing the game. So no, it's not a pyramid scheme. A pyramid is where everything goes up to one person, and it's not a pyramid. It's just a one-to-one. It's just an automated way of milking money out and then selling the money back to the game. Pyramids are a little more to it than that. Where am I? Lost my place. We did NXT, and it's like a swing trader's entry there. We'll check that out afterwards. Back needs more time to make the technical setup. Registrations, understandable, it does not reflect well on them besides the bad timing. It does not reflect well on them to get everybody all excited and then not do. Okay, this is just failed more following with Bitcoin. So OMG is back to a whole new bottom, whole brand new bottom formation here. So we really have to watch for it. 3,900 Satoshi. There's nothing to do here but stand back from this. We are looking at 4,600, maybe, but I'll even take that out of there now. It's got to make a whole new consolidation pattern and give us a new place to buy in. 00087 for Omni. Let's see what happened here. Any thoughts on Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin's going to lose dominance. It's not the... just like MySpace. In the beginning, MySpace was phenomenal, and then Facebook came out. And everybody jumped onto Facebook. And I think that there are better, stronger coins out there. And I think Ripple, though everybody is a hater of Ripple from the early days, it's because it's not a real decentralized cryptocurrency. It is providing something to the banking sector that Bitcoin can't. And it's going to weasel its way right in there, and it's going to get trillions of dollars of daily transactions. And if it does, and it's the lubrication to give liquidity to the world's market, the money markets, its coin market cap value is going to overtake Bitcoin a considerable amount, actually. Anyway, Omni stays with the same entry point here. We got this still holding inside this little wee 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and if it does break above the numbers we put there yesterday, it would be a good to go signal. Pascal coin, we said to sell it if it went below these levels, and same with PPC. These are the first ones I'm seeing negative on, where I was expecting that if it breaks. Currently everybody jumps on BTC. So back says, so they'll only focus on BTC at first. Yeah, BTC has got the most market cap. It's the most well known. And I could be wrong on that. I know Tone Vase, who does very well in his market predictions, I gotta say. He says Bitcoin is the one coin that'll rule them all. There's nothing else that can, but I don't know. So anyway, this is laying right along these levels. It did not break below our sell level. And it's giving us a super tight triangle now. So going up would be a buy, going down would be a sell for Pascal. And it was already a buy, so I'll continue that. We've already bought into it, paper trading wise. Back here. PPC. PPC is looking good, even though I was putting that negative in there, thinking that if it broke down from these levels, it would be a sell. Now it's given us a turnaround in this formation here that looks like it's consolidating to go higher. It's resisting going lower as Bitcoin did, and that's great. I love it. It followed with Bitcoin here. It followed a little bit, but not as much, and now it's showing a bit of strength as Bitcoin's making that divergence that we saw. So this could be taking off and outstripping Bitcoin's gains. And this is already something that we had purchased into and had put it as an alert to buy more. So I'm going to put that back to the alert. It was close to either get out or add on. And that's the kind of consolidation that we're looking for. So we get our buy signal, we do nothing, we leave our stop loss way back, let the market do its thing until it gives us a consolidation. And if we had bought into this early in November, we had to wait all month pretty much before it gave us this turnaround buy-in signal. Really nothing to do but sit and wait until these few moments, that tight signal comes in. Awesome. That's a great chart. I love finding it. Quantum. Tim Draper says Bitcoin will have 10% by the time he predicts 250,000 K. Yeah, well, there's so many other cryptos out there now, and they all have really good uses. But Bitcoin value compared to world markets. A visual comparison between Bitcoin and other markets. Have you guys seen this? This is old now. This is cryptocurrencies, all of cryptocurrencies. This is the size of them. This is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. So he's big into Phantom of the Pit's rule number 1, which is to only hold something if it proves you correct and sell it right away if it's not proving you correct. Anyway, but look at the size of cryptocurrencies compared to Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Amazon. They're so small, all of the cryptocurrencies compared to these companies. So there's the 50 richest people. They could buy all the cryptocurrencies in the world. All of them. Jeff Bezos, he's over $100 billion now. And Bill Gates together could buy all the cryptocurrencies that there are. Just those guys. And here's the world's currencies. China, the rest of the world, USA, Japan. Here's the size of the gold market. And somebody says if Bitcoin gets to be just 10% of the gold market, then it's going to be over $100,000 per coin. And Bitcoin is better than gold. Really. Except you can't wear it. This isn't the full chart. There's other charts. There's another chart that has more larger picture of that. Let me go back to my search. Here we are. The Money Project. So here's the same thing. Here's silver, very small, smaller than Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies, 50 richest people. California's gross domestic product. The Fed's balance sheet, $3.5 trillion. The currencies of the world, gold. The stock markets. Look at the size of this compared to, remember now, the size of those cryptocurrencies compared to the stock market. And then we go down to the global money supply, all of the money, the broad $94 trillion. Nothing. Bitcoin is nothing compared to these markets. And then we get down to the national debt. Then we get down to the global real estate. Bitcoin is nothing compared to these things. We're not even seeing the beginning of any of this stuff yet. So to be watching for these bottom formations, when we look back in 2-3 years, we're going to be laughing at how silly it is that we were worried about the price of things. It'll be crazy. And then we look at derivatives. So this is where they want to have derivatives of Bitcoin's price. This is an exchange traded fund. It is a derivative. They're deriving the trading vehicle on the price of something else. So these are futures contracts, options, swap contracts, and stuff like that. $544 trillion. And look at the size of this, all these blocks. Look at that. Keeps going and going and going. And this is the high estimate with all these gray blocks. Look at the size of this going down here compared to what Bitcoin is. And all the cryptocurrencies. And they are game-changing technologies that are going to be changing all of the finances in the world. So yes, putting $50 into all the different cryptos and then putting those aside and forgetting about them for a few years is going to make that patient person very wealthy. And these are just the numbers, the size of things that we're dealing with. So when we jump into quantum and we're saying, is this a bottom formation? Should I hold this or not? This is going to look like flatline when we look back from the future back to now. But anyway, it is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and a buy signal would be above this 00055. 00056.1 we said, so we'll keep that, hold on to that. What site is that? I will post the link. There we go. Money.visualcapitalist.com, the world money markets. Yeah, I'm happy to share it. This is, it's important to have perspective of where we really are according to the rest of the world, because then you're not going to freak out and panic dump your coins. You know that this little dip is so little that it's whatever. So long as you're not doing it with your lunch money. All right, now, rep really took off, gave us a buy signal there yesterday. Now it's pulled back and it's coming back to retest these levels. I would say it'd be fine for it to come back even further yet, and it would give us that swing trade entry maybe. Almost a popcorn maneuver here in this time frame. But really, that's a nice pre-pump candle, and if it settles back into these low levels, that would be a nice entry as well. It's a fade as a swing trade. So we did get a good signal out of this after watching for this little wee 1, 2, 3 bottom. It's lucky, I gotta say, but it was marked as a buy signal. So now we'll continue holding that. It's not an add-on, just a normal buy. SBD, okay, this is one that I didn't play right because it is actually a stable coin, and as Bitcoin's going down, of course, this one's going to go up. Look at the very time Bitcoin cracked down, this one's taking off and going up. So as Bitcoin comes down, this should be coming, Bitcoin's going up, this should be coming down. So then I would be wanting to be prepared to be selling out of this one. So I played this wrong, and now after watching this for all this time, I finally figured this market out, and I'll know better what to be doing with it. Treat it like a stable coin. So it is a buy signal according to the plan, but I didn't get it right. The plan, no, of course, the plan does much better than I do in trading. Coin, still down at these historical levels, still consolidating. If we zoom into the 3-day view, whoops, too close. We made this consolidation triangle and it's pulled back, so now the triangle would be adjusted, but it's still building. Above the 74, 76 Satoshi level would be an entry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 76. SNT, we said 541 Satoshi yesterday. Let's take a look. Hey, Purity Page, good to have you here as well. Happy weekend. These are good days to be alive. Especially with keep perspective where you are compared to where you're going, the long-term perspective, the big picture, and then these little moments don't fret you so much. As it is with most all of life's troubles. Sometimes life's troubles can be pretty profound, but most of the time we're getting into the 15-minute bars or the 1-minute bars and getting all panicked about it, and zoom out to the 1-year bars in your life and you're good. So again, this would be the same thing, just waiting for this. Even better now that it's consolidated down. If it were to break above that, it would be even a stronger bottom, and I like it better. Steam has been a fail all the way along here. And there were so many people so passionate about this when it first came out. I remember people tweeting out or saying that I've put all my money into Steam. I believe it's the best project in the world, and it's just deflated down, 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 down. But now it's down to historical lows, and we're watching for the bottom formation, regardless of all that stuff. So watching for the bottom formation, we are seeing a little bit lower lows here. Actually seeing the RSI showing a bit of strength on this very tight time frame where this is almost flat. And if I was to look at the on balance volume, this was a pretty big sell right here, and then it's less here. It's a smaller sell. So the bears are losing some power. There's not as much for them to sell. Maybe the bots have sold out everything they have. But it has to give a much bigger turnaround now that it's come down to these levels. I would want for it to come up and break above this support and resistance from before. Give me enough momentum to know that people are buying into it again at enough of a scale that it's changing directions of it, not just making a pre-pump candle. Not enough pre-pump candles in this one. It's not exciting me as many of the other coins. And it's too bad because I had $700 on there, and it's probably worth $150 now. Storage. Would you say NEO is putting in a buy signal? Storage is getting ready to. Whoops. Neo. Neo, I understand, went to some new lows that it has not gone to before. It's right to old historical levels. That's right on the edge. If it goes down below these levels, there's nothing below it. There's no support below it. If it breaks below these levels, it's going to sail. It will go down half again where it is. But it's at these historical lows, and it is making a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. 1 week view, 1 month view. Not enough change in this to make me feel yet that it's got the turnaround. We're still seeing pretty even amount of selling down to these lows, so there's not less selling at the next low. We do see a bit of a divergence in the RSI here compared to the prices. So maybe it's going to tick upward, but it's really got to develop this bottom formation more before it's going to tell me that the community is buying it en masse, that it's got a usage that people are excited about, and excited enough that they are taking, look how much time this was. August, September, October, November. It's come down, and it could be the perfect time to buy. But for my own part, I would want it to, everybody else to prove it out to me first, that it's really turned around and hit a bottom here. It's at near fail levels because it's so close to historical levels. And I haven't done the research on the project itself. I've heard of the coin, and I know that it's, China's Ethereum. So if you can build decentralized apps on top of this platform, I do want some of those coins. I do want to watch for this chart pattern to show properly, and then I want to get some of these coins. I believe all of those platforms, Lisk included, it's done some great moves in the past, and pretty quickly out of these bottom formations from last December. So it does have the potential. And if I did wait until that second level here for me to buy in, I'm lots of upside potential, lots. And then I don't have to risk that it may hit the skids and dive down. Okay, if it's the second biggest platform coin, I want to keep an eye on it. Let me star that. Funny that I don't have it starred before. And we are going on to storage, which we had written yesterday, 4201. Zoom in. Whoop, that's not storage. What is this? Neo. All right. That's on this level. It's looking pretty good. That's a pretty strong buy out of this little capitulation low here. But I'll wait. You could put on a small bit of your position here if you were considering this coin and you've done your research and you really like the project and you believe in it. You could put on a small bit of coin here out of this kind of formation, and if it proves you right, you're doing great. Absolutely. And then you could be adding on to it as it goes to those higher levels that I'd be looking at. Storage. But the key is smaller positions, hold them for longer. Smaller positions, hold them for longer. So we got some good lines here with storage coin, and I believe in this project. It's got a long-term massive revenue scale. It's going to make billions of dollars a year of pure profit, and you'll be able to rent out your hard drives and be part of this decentralized cloud. And I did it in the earlier version of it. I was renting out hard drives, and it would just deposit that money into my Ethereum address, and I was putting it onto my daughter's Ethereum address, which is on a piece of paper locked up in the safety deposit box in the bank, and she's to get that after she graduates university, and she's not just turned 1 year old, so that may be worth millions of dollars by the time she gets to having her hands on it. STR, that had a sell signal, that had a negative on there. What was that? 4203. And what happened? Positively earn gas by holding NEO. Passively earn gas by holding NEO. Now I want some NEO. $42.03 we said we would be selling out. So this would have been closing our position. We had a buy signal in this a while ago, and that would have been closing our position out of this top formation. May have been premature. Remember I said to have a smaller position and hold it longer. A smaller position and your stop loss is left way back further. This is a longer term strategy to catch the whole run and not just part of it. So we'll see what plays out on that over time. But I'll take that as a close of that trade, and we'll mark it afresh from here now. Strat. One week view. All right, it's looking good. We're looking for this break of the downtrend line, the moving average crossover, and a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout. And there's all three of them on this time frame, and that's only over a few days of time. But I'll keep harping on the fact of what happened last December when things hit these lows and then off they went. Yeah, right in here. So this didn't go as high as many of the others, but that was a pretty quick bottom formation last December, and I'm watching for that again here now. I think that we are in that kind of position. So that would have given us a buy signal according to what we're looking for. Right there, this little pump, this is a buy signal for this. It's a different strategy than the simple trading plan on the 12-hour bars and waiting for the whole trend to change. This is catching a very small trend change, and I don't recommend it most of the time. Syscoin. Passively earn ONG by holding ONT. I have some ONT over on Binance. I don't know if I'm passively earning ONG. I'll have to check. So Syscoin, we've got a double bottom here now. And it really failed hard. This was a great one where we did not buy into it in our paper trading all the way along here. It was looking so close. It was an alert all the time, and then it failed back and crashed hard. 3-month view, 1-year view. It is down to, oh wow, old historical levels. And I know that Old Scott was talking about they're partnering up with somebody to do a digital silver, to do something with silver and to use silver as backing maybe for the currency. Okay, Binance should pay me ONG once a month if I'm holding there. Cool, I'll have to check. I've probably got this ONG coin. I don't even know where it's coming from. There. This would be the turnaround of this bottom formation. What are we saying here? 1,047 Satoshi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 0, 4, 7. And we'll watch that one. Viacoin. Good to have you here, Michael. I like the education. Thank you very much. There is so much to know about cryptocurrencies. I cannot know it all. And I really do benefit from doing these streams. All the videos that I've been doing for the years have really been a benefit for me, learning so much. ONG is traded on Binance. Not traded on Binance, only on Bits. That's okay. I'm a pretty patient holder. So this one's down to new lows. It's got to make its whole new bottom formation all on its own, and I can't give it any kind of number yet to be breaking above. It needs to build something. VTC, however, it's got a number there. And there's the third one that came up and hit our little number and then pulled back down. Had a little pump. 83.97. So this would have pumped us up to 83. We would have got in and it pulled back to 72. So this was not a happy one as well. 1 day view. So it made this consolidation and it just gave us that popcorn move, hit our entry signal, and then pulled back. Nasty. That's the third market now out of these plans that did this. And it's one of the reasons I try not to buy in. There's some liquidated short positions coming in. Love to see it. I don't like to see any liquidations, but if they're going to be, I like to see the shorts getting liquidated because that means prices are moving up and at a clip. $2.2 million liquidated short position. That's crazy. There's millions have gone by liquidated already just from this little move. Crazy and compelling to watch. Another 1.2 million short. Whew. Crazy. When it was dropping earlier, it was showing $10 million liquidated short positions here. 10. Like, it was just insane. And I think that they are not studying rule number 1. There are 2 kinds of mistakes you can make in trading. The mistakes that you get punished for, and you will soon learn not to do them or you will quit trading. Which exchange am I looking at? Most of the time I'm looking at Poloniex as we go through all this stuff, but along the side here where we're seeing those liquidations, that is called the significant trades. I'll give you a link. It's on GitHub. Copy. Paste. Wrong link. Let me try copying that again. So you can bring this up on your desktop, and it's the Significant Trades app. I don't know, somebody made this on GitHub. And it looks for any trades over $100,000 on a range of different exchanges. So we see a lot of BitMEX trades that are over $100,000. That's because somebody's taking $1,000 and they're doing 100 times leverage trade, which equals $100,000. So when we're seeing the $1 million trades, those are often, what would that be? $10,000 at 100 times leverage equals $1 million. So when you see $1 million trade liquidated, it may be just a $10,000 position that has been turned into a $1,500 position. So they lost most of their money. Definitely not studying rule number 1. If you get liquidated at all, counterparty. 1 month view. It's building up. I'm actually surprised. I thought Counterparty was like one of the old projects that there are better ways to do what Counterparty offers by working with Ethereum. But it's building up. And if it breaks above that, I have to put aside my thinking about whatever the project is and buy it because it's making that formation. So it's looking pretty good. I'm going to mark that as an alert. Now, XEM was an add-on signal yesterday. Yes, BitMEX is very high leverage, so it's gambling. It's very highly addictive to trade in that kind of high leverage because of the emotional rush that goes along with it. And I prefer to have less emotional rush along with my trading and take the smaller positions for the longer period of time, leave my stop losses way back. So if the prices go up, I go, oh yeah. If they come down, I go, okay. And it does, it's just not that crazy. But I do look at the super long term and believe that $1,000 today is going to turn into 10,000. And if you're prudent, you're going to take that 10,000 and you're going to turn it into 100,000. And then you can use that as a down payment on a house, rent that out, and have steady perpetual income while you're watching for more trades. Diversify so that you're making more passive income with the money that you make here. So this was an add-on yesterday, and it's turned out to be very good. It's holding on great. We got the buy signal, and then we got the add-on signal. So this is going to be very nice and profitable, very nice and profitable if it goes back up to where it was before. Insane profits. This is where $1,000 turns into $10,000. And I have had $10,000 days in the past, which is Unthinkable. Unthinkable. But there was a day, more than one day, where I made $10,000 in that day. And I remember my first $10,000 day. My wife and I went out and we bought a chocolate brownie as a celebration. Here is the consolidation pattern. We see all these different levels where if it breaks above that, it would be a buy signal in XMR. I'm not liking it as much though. The RSI isn't diverging as much as I want to. I'm seeing bigger on balance volume dump here. So it needs more time to mature. I would stand back from this and wait for it to break above these other support and resistance levels for XMR. XPM down, still this straight down trend line. What's the deal? Ripple was an add-on signal. So we bought in here, we added on here. It's up. If it pulls back a little bit, it's for this simple trading plan. That's fine, no worries. If we zoom in again, it made this big consolidation triangle, and I was thinking it was going to go up from here, but it didn't. It came back down, and it's reset this pattern. It's even come outside of the parallel trend line channel. So now it's time to redraw that parallel trend line channel and move this so that it's catching the top here. Move this down so it's catching that bottom. So now we're seeing where the channel actually is. If it breaks down below that, then I'm just wasting time here by moving it to fit the chart. But that's a better fit of the chart here. We'll see how this goes over time. And another thing to point out is the support and resistance that it's sitting above and it's bounced off of. Important support and resistance all the way along, that it's come up above and now that has turned into support. That's pretty keen. So if I zoom into the 3-day view and see how it touched that, it's come down and made a little 1, 2, 3 bottom and bounced off of that. And it's moving up with Bitcoin. So it moved up against Bitcoin. Bitcoin was coming down and this was moving up. Then it's failed down with Bitcoin. Now it's bottomed and it's moving up with Bitcoin. It's very interesting. We'll have to see what's going on. But I do believe that in the long term, this is going to be, you can see that this is I'll go to the 5-year view. We're looking at a huge 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. And I think this is going to go up and up and up for the next 12 to 18 months. And it's one of my bigger holdings now. Zcash. Oh, that's the 5-year view, that's why. 3-month view, it's still holding within this bottom formation, so it has to do something above this. It really has to take this and turn around. And we can see that when we're zoomed in, it looks like a big range, but when we zoom out, that's nothing compared to what it's been in the past. So if it is going to do a turnaround, and this is just being squished down to low levels, we can see that as Bitcoin came along to this area and then it did its massive crash, Zcash did not crash nearly as massively. So that is very bullish that it's kept its position here. Its US dollar value did not crack down like Bitcoin's did. So if it does break above these levels, that's very strong. But I'll wait for it to break above those levels. I'm going to be kind of patient with that one. ZRX. Yes, the chocolate brownie is all we bought. That was it. We were looking for a chocolate cake, but couldn't find one, so we settled on a brownie. That was it. We did go to Brazil for 2.5 months later that year, though. So bottom formation, come back down to this bottom formation. So it's a swing trader's entry, but that's all I can see out of this. And it's another one. It faded back pretty good with Bitcoin, but not bad. So we got a couple bottoms and a pre-pump candle, and it may be doing something. What do we got for RSI and on balance volume? Hard to say. It's not giving me the same, although we see a big dump here in the volume and much less volume here now as negative volume. So it could be, but it's got to break above this downtrend more strongly. It's got to turn around. It's got to break above these levels that we had identified there yesterday. Maybe even a little higher than this. So it's got some work to do yet, and it may take it a couple weeks. It may take it a week. It may just be a few days, but not quite yet. Okay, so the RSI is diverging a little bit, where we see these lows and the RSI is showing a bit more strength. So it's starting to show a turnaround. Yeah, brownies are awesome. Starting to show a turnaround there. All right, now I got to flip back to Dogecoin. And the answer is pretty much staying at the same place, between 54 and 55 Satoshi. So I'm long in this with a leverage trade and watching the interest rates on Poloniex closely, because when the bull market starts, those Bitcoin interest rates are going to go way up, and it's just much more expensive to do margin trades there. But overall, Dogecoin is looking pretty good. We had this down channel. We have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We have the RSI divergence strong before the prices broke. So the prices were flat and even coming down, and the RSI was already diverging. And for the on-balance volume, we're seeing much stronger buying volume coming in here. So there's a lot of purchasing going on as people are trading there. There's a lot of buying going on. Could pull back a little bit, but I think this is going to show us some higher prices. Even if it only comes up to the 70, 71 Satoshi area, that's a pretty good move, and I'll make a killing on that. I'll make thousands of dollars off that trade. Open doors are equal now for plus or minus 2 Satoshi. Yep. Open orders. Oh, I see. They're equal now. Poloniex. I'm not logged in. That's why it's... So 16 either side. Yeah, it's not as clear. And it's not good to be trading by the order book. But look at that. There's a 2.5 Bitcoin sell order there. More sell orders coming in. 2.5 Bitcoin. Lots of sell orders coming in here. So this is where I do have the feeling it'll pull back a little bit before it goes higher. But all those indicators of the RSI divergence, the on-balance volume being very good, and the chart pattern, that's what I look for as a trading entry signal. So I just have to be patient and let all that stuff go on and not worry about it. The bounce may push us above 6K in Bitcoin. Yeah, the 50% level would be 53, 5400. It's got a lot of support and resistance here at the 5600. So if it breaks the 5600, it may touch the 6000 as a excitement touch, but I think it's going to be coming to the 5400 and finding trouble there. Just because of that 50% level of the Fibonacci retracement. So we'll have to see how that goes. I love it. Anyway, is there any market you want me to take a look at? I've got to go and look at Link. Because this one was a good call as it came up to these tops and it was making this top formation here, and the RSI was diverging and the on balance volume was going from positive to negative. I said, well, this one's probably done its run. It's been fantastic. It really outdid Bitcoin. Really. But it was at the top of this parallel channel. It was making the top formation. The RSI was diverging. The on balance volume was looking weaker. Now we have a head and shoulders top formation here. So it would be quite normal, quite natural, even if this is stunning technology that is going to be changing the world in whatever way. It's natural for it to come back to the 50% level. And look where the 50% level is. I just never cease to be amazed at how it turns out to be where there is already historical support and resistance right at that level. Never ceases to amaze me. It's phenomenal what this technical analysis does. The patience is the difficult part. So when it does, if it does come back to these levels and hit this support and resistance and makes the consolidation pattern, it's actually the add-on spot for this trade. So here's the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Here's the buy signal. It came up and retested the number 2 point. So you could buy on the breakout or you could wait for that retest and buy there. And then there's nothing to do but wait. Let it come all the way back here. You're still way in the profit. Then when it does this consolidation, that's when you add on, because we are looking for a long-term move, not just something that happens over these couple months, but 12 months to 18 months to 3 years. And if you were to buy it and do nothing but sit on it and hold it, because it's extra money, right? We're only trading with extra money. It's risk capital. It's not money that we need to cash out on. Patience is the best thing here. Yeah, Ed, I don't think we've seen the bottom in Bitcoin either. I think it's going to bounce up to that 5,400 and then it's going to be coming back, and I think it will be retesting $3,000. And I don't think it's going to take that long either. I think this is conspiracy theory wise. I think it is being pushed now. And the larger traders know the long-term value. They know how small these markets are compared to all of the world's market money. And so they know to be purchasing into this stuff. They know how to manipulate and push the markets to where it's favorable for them. Looks like Koinigi is giving me a hiccup here. Page unresponsive. I do put it through the paces. I do work it pretty hard. There we are, back in the saddle. I do think it'll come down to this white line, which is $3,000. We had another guy in the chat saying that too. So you doubt the 1K call? I hope it doesn't go down to 1K. Can you imagine the havoc that'll wreak in all of the mining companies? There's going to be a lot of them going out of business. But we're looking at the 1-day bars and look at the RSI here. Look how oversold that is. It's down to 8.1, 7.5. It has not been down to that kind of oversold except for once, way back here. When is that? 2015, January of 2015. That's the only time. And we were looking at that RSI oversold condition earlier to say that it was only here in August of 2016, September of 2015, and January 2015. Now it's gone so far down that only January 2015 is the only time in history that it's been down this low. Let's go look at that price. What was going on with the prices in January 2015 when the RSI was that oversold? Right here. So that tells us there's potential for that 6,000 to come back in. And then sideways and frustration and anticipation and lots of manipulation. So this is when the prices get up here and the big guys are teasing you The bots see it. They see everybody going long and their stop losses are too close because they're using super high leverage. And then the bots just start selling, bang, 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 and they liquidate all those people. And prices get all the way down to these lows and everybody's going bearish and they're taking up all these short positions with high leverage and their stop loss is too close and the price gets driven up and driven down and driven up and driven down and it just milks the crowd. And this is what the big guys are going to be doing now for the next while, milking all the crowd and buying all these Bitcoin and setting them aside because they have the money. It's extra money. They don't need to spend it. They don't need to use that money. They're just collecting. They're accumulating. So if we find a chart that shows accumulation distribution patterns, accumulation distribution pattern images. This isn't new. This is old stuff. So when prices are pushed down to these levels, and here's a great one. Price is pushed way down. They're pushed sideways. So they're coming up here. Everybody's going bullish, and then they're driven down, and everybody's going bearish. Then they're driven up and driven. And this is where the crowd is being milked, and the big guys are accumulating. And they're just putting it aside, putting it aside, and putting it aside. Then there comes a point where they just start buying en masse. And then as it's going up to those super highs, they are distributing. They are selling out to everybody else. That's the distribution phase. Sometimes they sell out on the other side of the top formation. Then they're distributing. They're selling it out to everybody who's buying in on any little bump. So I'm very bullish. I think that it's going to take a while. We're going to be our patience is going to be tested now. What was this? January until September of 2015. Look at this. The patience that was required all the way through the summer of 2015 was maddening. But then I was there and I was prepared. On September the 24th, I bought my Bitcoin. I took money that I had sitting there and sitting there and sitting there and finally said, now let's buy those Bitcoin. Have I looked at the logarithmic chart of Bitcoin with volume profile? Most buyings below $1,600. No, I haven't. Log chart. 5 year. Let me clear off my junk. Oh yeah, this is in the log chart format. We haven't seen near the 50% level of retracement, and I don't like that. Of course, the Fibonacci is also in a log format too. Hard to say. The logs really change it, eh? Logarithmic format. But we do see a moving average crossover on the logarithmic chart. That is not good. There's some downside to this yet. And that would take us down to the $2,500 level. Still that $30,000, $2,500 level. It looks still as important in the charts. Cool. Sobering. Yeah. Yeah, sobering. I wonder multi-crypto charts. Silver. Full screen. 1 week bars. Oh, do I have the opportunity to put into a logarithmic style here now? I thought the charts would be close to the same. don't see the option. Too bad. Compare symbols. I wanted to compare that and see what silver looked like in the logarithmic format because of its similar move. You know, like this looks like a crypto. The big pump and then the long downtrend, a little pump, and then the descending wedge triangle and a dump right back down to historical levels that are significant all the way along, and making a little wee 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. It just looks like a crypto story. So I just want to trade it. I just want to buy silver. And I'm waiting for it. But anyway, this has been awesome. More than 2 hours. The time flies when you're having fun, I'm telling you. Back to, here we go. I guess I'll sign off. I appreciate everybody here. We got 18 watching and 18 thumbs up. Woo, that is like a record. Fantastic. Even I've got somebody over there on Twitch watching. Give it a thumbs up over on Twitch. Say hello. I didn't see a Twitch chat come through. And the Twitch chat will come through on the screen off to the side. So I'll sign off and wish you guys a great weekend, but we'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same place, looking to see what's not the same in the cryptos. Thanks again for being here, guys. This was a great show. I enjoyed it. I picked up some great tips here today. Awesome. Cheers. Have a good night.